My name is Latavia Fields. I was born in Brooklyn. I'm a model, an entrepreneur, and a global traveler whose journey is rooted in resilience, representation, and reinvention. I began modeling in 2013, and I've modeled across 27 states, breaking barriers in the plus size fashion space and advocating for body confidence on an international scale. My work includes being featured on BET, Face the Sweets with Mello from Full Blossom magazine, as well as participating in the international plus size documentary highlighting diversity and inclusion in fashion. As of 2026, I've embraced traveling as a passion and a lifestyle. I've been to 52 countries and and it's an experience that continues to shape my worldview and entrepreneurial vision. Beyond modeling, I am a licensed real estate agent and a notary. I'm dedicated to helping others build stability and generational wealth. I'm also the founder of Snatched, a shapewear brand created to celebrate curves, confidence, and comfort without compromise. I'm recently diagnosed with breast cancer. I continue to walk boldly in purpose, using my voice, platform, and visibility to inspire, strengthen self love, and perseverance through every chapter of my life.
Wow.
Yes,
You are indeed a traveler. Let
yes.
me ask you, have you been to any African country?
I have. I've been to Uganda, I've been to Morocco, I've been to Egypt,
Wow,
and those
interesting.
are the only African countries.
You've not been
I've
to
been.
Nigeria?
I have. So I was supposed to go to Nigeria in December for dirty December, and was diagnosed with cancer in September. So I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna go.
Now.
Yeah,
You're not
that
gonna
was
go
just
for now, but
well for now.
eventually.
What? Is you crazy?
I like that.
Yes, I plan on going to Nigeria and getting land in Nigeria
Oh,
because
that's
right
good.
now you can buy land for $70,000.
Yeah, wow, that's beautiful.
A big
So-
nice house for $70,000.
Wow. So when that happens, let me know.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so I have a few questions for you. Would you kindly take us back to the moment you first got the diagnosis?
Yes.
What went through your mind and heart in that moment, and how did your faith in God help you process that news?
Honestly, when I first got that, when I first got the, you know, when I first got when the doctor told me you have cancer, I think everything else went blur, if I'm not mistaken. I heard what the doctor was saying, but then I think I got angry. I got sad, I got, it was just a ball of emotions at one time. It's because, you feel like, okay, I did the right things. I give, I do what I'm supposed to do. Cancer don't run in my family. Where did this come from? How did I get it? Then you start thinking about things that you did in the past to see, okay, did this cause me to get cancer? You cry, you like, okay, let me check to see if I have life insurance. Let me make sure my mom have all my life insurance policies because you think it's like a death sentence. When you see cancer and you look at people with cancer, you just automatically assume that they very, very sick and it's just the end because when we look at movies and we see people with cancer, we see them very frail in the bed. They can't move. They sick. They on ventilators. That's what you expect when you hear someone has cancer. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
what went through my mind is I'm young. I still have a whole life ahead of me. I have young children. Who's going to take care of my children when I'm gone? Because in my head, honestly, I thought that I was dying. It wasn't just like you have cancers. You have stage 2 breast cancer, with lymph nodes involved. So now it's like, what? So how did I get this? All I could do was cry. I prayed. I don't even think I was able to look at my daughter. Honestly, just to look at her brought tears to my eyes. You know why? Because it's like, you're a little girl. Who's going to take care of you? But I had to process it because at that moment it was very hard. You know what I mean? But after that, it got easier and easier. And I started to give my faith in the Lord. And I said, what is it that you want from me?
Wow.
What is it that you want me to do?
Wow.
You understand what I mean? Because I've done so much already. What is my calling in life? What is it that you want me to do? And then I got a new job.
Wow. Amazing.
You know, I got a new job as a residential manager, right? So I work for the company called AHRC, and they specialize in people with disabilities. So I manage three I manage three houses that have people with disabilities, but they're high functioning disabilities. So I first got to the house. It was this young lady. Her name was there was this young lady. And when I got there, she was just diagnosed with brain cancer. And me as the manager, I have to make sure her health is in top shape. If she has to go to the doctor's appointment, I have to assign people to go with her. But instead of me assigning people to go with her, I went with her myself. You know why? Because every day I prayed up into her doctor's appointment. So when she got the diagnosis that she had brain cancer, I was like, God, is this what you're trying to show me? Are you trying to tell me that it could be worse, or are you trying to use me?
Wow.
Are you trying to use me to be the light in somebody else's life? You know, I got diagnosed with cancer, and I looked at Facebook and Instagram for those who have cancer before me, because I didn't know anyone with cancer, breast cancer to be exact. So on Facebook, I reached out to people. They poured into me. They didn't even know me. They didn't know me. They called me every day. They prayed over the phone. They told me what I'm going to go through, and they told me it's going to get easy. It's hard right now, but they ensured that it was going to get easier. So when I met this individual, and she had breast cancer, and she was crying, and she just kept saying, I don't want to die, I felt like it was my purpose, my duty to help her wholeheartedly. You know why? Because I know what you're going through. You understand what I mean? And I'm going to make it my business to be there for you like those others was there for me.
Oh my God, that was a very good sermon.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
It's the truth.
So, 3 distinct key points, messages I'm getting from this little expose you gave to us. Listen to this clearly. I hear you say cancer is not a death sentence. Secondly, I hear you, in the midst of the storm, in spite of the diagnosis, you were still asking God about your purpose. You were still willing to fulfill purpose. It wasn't about you, right? You had to step outside of the diagnosis to seek how to be a blessing to others, how to fulfill purpose. And this is so rare, so uncommon, because usually what happens with storms of life is when it comes, it tends to overwhelm us. It tells us to engulf us, right? But your faith in God, prayers really realigned you to the point that you were just asking God for purpose. What would you have me do in the midst of this storm? Not get me out of it, right? But what would you have me do? How can you use me? And then, because you made yourself available, you became a blessing to someone else. He led you to someone else who needed you, who needed the grace you have. This is extraordinary.
Yes. And through it all, he still was blessing me.
Through it all, he was still blessing
me. Yes, because I got diagnosed with the cancer, and then he gave me a new job that I wasn't going to take.
Oh my goodness.
I decided to take the job, and then I met this individual. So I still was being blessed, even though I thought that my life was over.
Oh my goodness. This is such a beautiful story. I tell you, just this little clip is gonna really inspire, encourage, and motivate someone. This is the power of faith, people. I can't overemphasize this. The power of faith, the power of prayer, the power of relationship with God. Thank you so much for sharing this, because I believe in my heart this is going to liberate somebody. Trust me, your story is not just your story, it's for other people. So I have another question. I know cancer or any illness or diagnosis has a way of trying to redefine people, right? But your identity is deeper than a diagnosis. So how did your faith remind you of who you are in God's eyes and not the diagnosis?
My faith reminded me that I'm not defined by hospital rooms or medical reports. In God's eyes, I'm still His creation, fearfully and wonderfully made. Being called a patient may describe what I'm going through, but it does not describe who I am. I am a woman with purpose, resilience, and faith. God sees me as a whole, worthy and loved beyond any diagnosis. Even in my weakest moments, my faith whispers that I am still chosen, still strong, and still standing in His grace.
Wow, this is so beautiful. I love that. Grace. Of course, it has to be the grace of God throughout this journey. It wasn't your own strength, it wasn't your own ability, it wasn't your own power, but the grace of, like, literally the hand of God was there with you through each journey. And that is so amazing. And I'm glad that you realize that, you know that, you are aware of that. So that has been your strength. Now, people often see the courage on the outside, like they look at you and they're like, oh, she's gorgeous, she's fabulous, she's strong and courageous, right? So what were the quiet moments between you and God? Those quiet moments, just you and God during this journey, like the prayers, the fears, the moments where you had to lean on Him. Just tell us a little bit about those quiet moments that you had between you and God.
I think I cried and prayed for the first 4 months. Every night when I'm alone, I cried and I prayed. You understand? Of course, in my head, I put all my faith in God. Because guess what? Like I said, I'm chosen. You know what I mean? I'm His daughter.
Yes.
So what's for me is for me, and what's not is not.
Absolutely.
You understand? So at nighttime when I'm alone and I'm laying in bed, all I say is, God, please heal me. No, sorry, I don't say that. I say, God, thank you for healing me.
Oh, wow. That's faith right there.
Thank you for healing me. You understand? Thank you for using me. You understand that? That's all I say. Thank you for using me.
Wow. You are a woman of faith.
Yes.
You know that.
Yes.
You are a woman of faith. This reminds me of what the Bible says. It says, when you ask a thing, believe. Right?
Yes.
That you already got it. And then you will have it.
The secret.
That's the secret.
That's
so
the
you
secret.
thanking God for healing you, regardless of what you're seeing with your physical eyes and what you feel, is faith.
Yeah.
So you are thanking God for the healing. You already received the healing before it actually happened. So I strongly believe that miracles happen even before we see the physical manifestation. It happens from the very moment you see it as done. And then it begins to manifest outwardly. So you are just a woman of faith. And I can tell your faith got developed. Can I say that?
Yes.
That your faith got stronger during this journey. Can I say that?
Of course.
Beautiful.
Of course, because this is hard. It will be hard for anybody. I'm not going to sit here and lie and say that, it's easy peasy and, hey, I got cancer and let me go on with my life. No. It's times where my body is hurting. It's times where I can barely get up and out the bed and walk. My nails is changing color. When my feet tingles and it feels numb at times, And I all say that this is a process. This is a process that I have to go through because this is my testimony. With all of the things I've been through in my life, this is one that I'm able to tell somebody.
Wow.
You understand? And like I said, it's not easy. Even though when people look at me, they're like, girl, you look good. You sure you got cancer? Yes, I have cancer. It's not easy. But I am going to live with this cancer until it's gone and live my life to realize. I came to the realization that everybody have jobs. How can I be mad at my friend for not attending chemo with me? My friend has a whole family that she has to feed. You understand? There are just certain, and my life my friend's life don't stop because I have cancer. I appreciate my friends calling me, checking up on me, making sure I'm good the best way that they know how to. But I can't expect them to stop work. You understand? Putting food on their table to hold my hand as an adult to be with me through chemo. So I just came to the realization that this makes you stronger than ever. This, going into unknown situations with strength and of course crying because you don't know how it's gonna make you feel, but you have to do it. You have to do it because you want to live. You understand? You have to do it because there's no other choice.
It's like going through hell and coming out smelling like heaven.
Exactly. Exactly. You know what I mean? I can't just sit here and cry and say, I'm not doing it. Oh, yes, it hurts as hell. But I have to. I have to.